Today, we're coming together for something. As a community. Hopefully. Maybe. This video will have two replies at the bottom, one being yes and the other one being no. It will also include some links, and I would appreciate if you participate in that. You obviously don't have to, but it would help us do something. And that something has to do with the Chef Vulcan skin. Now, many of you may know this concept from way back in the day. This was made ages ago, basically a running joke on the fact that Vulcan has his meatball, his 3, and that could be a fully fledged skin where he throws an actual meatball. And Hirez has kinda always circled around the idea rather than actually addressing it. And then it was brought up at the last patch note saying that it's not gonna happen, basically. That upset some people, and one of these people you may know, and that was Smitten. Smitten asked Chuk, where the fuck is my Chef Vulcan skin? It's easy money, come on. Now Chuk's response was, it's not easy money. We make it, the Redditors buy it, and no one else does, and we have a return on investment of less than 1. The conversation went on for a bit, and Chuk proposed that if anyone wants to see that skin happening, there should be messages to Stew or Larson, a torrent of tweets so furious as to be undeniable, as to put it in his words. Those interested in the skin would have to prove without a shadow of doubt that people will buy the skin. And that is exactly what I'm asking you to do today, if you are interested in the skin, that is. I think there are a lot of people out there who would like the skin. A lot more than Chuk can even expect or anticipate for, and I don't believe that this is a skin that only Reddit is interested in. I will expand on the debate and why I think this skin is good regardless a little bit later down the road, but first of all, if you want to support the skin, there will be a link down below. The link will A, bring you directly to Smitten's tweet that already has over 1,000 likes and is basically the one that will prove to Hirez that we want the skin. There will be another tweet from me that links to that tweet. If you retweet or like that one, it will also bring more attention to the other tweet because basically it pops up on people's follows that follow me and not Smitten. And then there's also a poll that you can vote in under Smitten's original post for the request for the skin that you can also use to further show that you really want this skin or maybe that you don't want this skin. And in the comment section you can also vote yes or no, just upvote the comments that you are for, depending on if you want the skin or not. My tweet will also include an ad to HirezChris and to HirezStew. So if you want to tell them directly that you want this skin, then you can also do it that way. You can do it in the replies to that tweet, or you can message them directly, even better. They will definitely catch wind of it that way. So you have all these different options to encourage the skin being made if you would like to see it in the game, and I would much appreciate if you take some of those steps at least. Obviously, not everyone has a Twitter account and everyone wants to make one. Just use the comment section down below. It will still show, I will still link that in the replies as well, so we can show as much support for that skin as possible. The formal stuff is, once again, all linked down below, so you just have to click yourself through either the description or the comments, and that's all you need to do. Now, some of you may not be convinced yet. A little more for the skin concept itself. Rob Draws actually made an excellent version of how the skin could look like. Basically brought in tons of ideas, and I think his example here, his design for this is really worth sharing. There's a lot of eye for detail here. For example, his turret is a meat grinder, his hammer is a tenderizer, and the cannons or whatever he usually has on his back are stone ovens. There are also other ideas that have been proposed, for example making his ult a massive pizza. Maybe not all of these can be realized considering that the skin would otherwise basically be almost tier 5 with a ridiculous amount of effect changes, but I think a lot of them can. And even if the skin doesn't make it into the game in quite this version, it will still be a very good skin regardless. It will still be a very fun skin that also in its own way looks cool and I think is somewhat meme-worthy as well and will probably lead to a lot of fun montages. I also want to address some criticism regarding the skin. Chuk, for example, said that he thinks people outside of Reddit would not even recognize the joke and would not be interested in the skin. I don't believe that's true. I believe the meatball joke has gone way beyond Reddit at this point. It's frequently said in the SPL actually by the casters when they refer to a third ability, they just call it meatball all the time. So that point is something that I don't believe holds true. I think that not only Twitch and Reddit will know what we're talking about when we're talking about Vulcan's meatball, I think most of you guys watching this video would probably be aware even if you're not on those platforms as well. And even if you're not in on the joke, which really isn't that much of a joke, it's just the fact that his 3 is kinda looking like a big ball and it could be a meatball, then I imagine you could still find it pretty funny, because when I first read it for the first time, I still thought it was funny, even though I wasn't in on it yet. Another criticism was that the skin is basically just a one-line joke because it's only based on the meatball and nothing else, and that's why the skin was made. And I think at some point this was probably true, it's probably just the idea of having a meatball, but I don't think this holds true anymore with how much depth and how much detail has gone into the skin at this point, like, for example, the meat grinder turret. A joke like that can easily be expanded across various fields, and you can have different animations for different abilities that refer to different things and still make it funny somehow. You could even use a pizza on the one, for example, to have something different there. Likewise, I also believe that other skins are not necessarily much more than a one-line joke in the idea themselves as well. Think, for example, Chef's Special Capri, who is literally a cooked lobster as a chef, but that's about it for the joke. Or likewise, Ice Cone Ymir, who's Ymir is an ice cone. I don't even know what the actual skin is called, but I will call him Ice Cone Ymir because he's literally just an ice cone, and that's the joke. He's a dessert. And it's fun. It's a cool skin, I think, for some. I'm not the biggest fan of that one in particular, but it's nothing that would have to have more of a deeper joke to it. You will always be able to find funny voice lines for any god of that kind, and I'm sure there would be plenty for Vulcan, especially since Vulcan was also one of the gods that was frequently played by Allied, and people have proposed that maybe one of his lines could be implemented into the voice pack too. Now, there are certain risks that come with making a community concept into a skin. It's a concept. The art, as we have seen on skins in the past, doesn't always translate all too well into the in-game model. The best example here would be the Awilish skin that we got, also as a community skin. The skin itself was very nice, and people voted for it for specific reasons, and in the end, some of those parts were basically removed and the skin looked entirely different from the original. I am much less concerned that this will be an issue with the Vulcan skin. That's because many people will have, sure, some degree of expectations, but what they primarily want to have is a Vulcan skin that revolves around the idea of him being a chef and throwing meatballs. So everything that could be adapted or changed doesn't really change the core idea, and he will still end up being pretty cool. Also, at least Rob Draw's concept does not seem completely out of this world complex. The amount of extra skeleton animations needed wouldn't drastically increase. The turret is not more complex than some of the other turrets he had, and the only thing that would maybe be a bit of an issue or more of a complex part is the chef head, which probably needs to move in some way to look like a realistic chef head and wobble around a little bit or something. And that's maybe where you'd have to have some skeleton changes or something, but it shouldn't be anything all too drastic, and the bigger changes would be the animations of the abilities probably. Being able to have a community requested skin in the game that's been around for so long would probably outweigh the downsides, and we've seen one of Rob Draw's concepts in the past make it into the game almost unchanged, which is the Bandito Silvano skin, which became the High Noon Silvano skin. I don't think the skin would appeal to the entire Smite scene, as I'm sure there is a decent chunk of the player base that's more interested in edgy skin, especially among the younger players. That's just how it is typically, and I'm usually someone who prefers the darker skin over the fun skins as well. But I think this one has a good shot of making it to the popular skins. Now, if you wanna encourage this skin being made, one thing you should please not do is insult any Hirez employees if they don't make it right away, or if you don't like their art style and think they're to blame or something like that. That is not gonna facilitate getting the skin at all. It's gonna do quite the opposite and probably get you some blocks as well. So just don't do that. Just be nice. They are nice to us, offering us this option of being able to get the skin this way possibly. So do the same. If you didn't want the skin before, but I could remove some of your doubts this way, once again, the reminder, all the links to vote are down below, both to upvote here on YouTube as well to go over to Reddit to the particular posts in order to post your upvote there or post your comment there and address the designers or the developers directly. And with that, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell if you enjoyed this video. It will also give you the chance to get notified, to get some codes in the description from time to time. And also, we have a comment of the day. Today, that's from the Mercenary on my What Makes a Good Support video. This video is a bit stretched out, could have been much shorter. For example, how to be a good support. Just pick Ganesh and I also have to say that I really enjoyed the comment section of that video in particular in general. There were a lot of nice comments in that one. Keep up the good work, guys. See you for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth, out.